So, what's this video going to be about? I don't know. Quite frankly, I just enjoy talking to myself, really. That's what it's really about. Nah, but honestly, we've got beautiful things to share in this household. Check out my lampshade. Isn't that dope? Aren't I lucky? Look at this little bastard. I'm sorry, I know words are very powerful. I shouldn't have called you that. So, my sweeties, what's happening? What's happening in Rowtown? Well, what's this conversation going to be about, miss? What are we going to talk about today? So, the topic should be about Jimbos. Right? Cat food. That'd be nice. Is it going to be beef? Veal? Should I get you a sirloin? Tomahawk? What shall I get you tomorrow? A young little mouse to play with? A sweet little rat, maybe? Okay, maybe not. So, give you some space. I was giving you some space, bro. What's going on? Want to hang out a little bit more? What's happening? So, anyway, what are we going to talk about today? So, I had some crazy revelations the other day. I've had many crazy revelations. Thousands of revelations. Everything has been revealed to me multiple times. A multitude of times. Come here. Okay. We're reaching substance. It's on its way. It has arrived. Get it? Yeah. So, hey bro, what are we going to talk about, eh? We are going to talk about give us a mic. Oh. Ah. Oh. Today, we're going to talk about boundaries. Okay. So, boundaries. What are boundaries? Boundaries are a funny one. I used to think that if someone was like, sorry, that's my boundary, it meant that, that felt weird, having a boundary being placed on my body, on my person, because what I think a boundary is, and should be, is a boundary that you apply to yourself. For example, if someone's being an asshole to you, you don't say, actually, it's my fucking boundary that no one enters into my space when I'm feeling offended by your speech. If we bring that back, what's more empowering that I found is when you say, oh, my personal boundary is that I do not personally feel comfortable in this energy right now. My boundary is when I feel uncomfortable or I sense that this is not making or helping me grow in any way, I am going to remove myself and do what I think is best for myself now without imposing it, without blaming or pointing and saying, this is all your fault. It's actually taking accountability and going, actually, I'm becoming self-empowered and taking that responsibility back and going, the boundary that I need to assert for myself here today is that I am feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling unsafe, or whatever it is. I need to go and tend to myself and make sure that everything is okay in my camp before I can come back to this situation. Because right now I'm so dysregulated. I'm unregulated. There's no way that I can approach you or this situation now. Stop scratching. without potentially making things worse, because I operate from a wonderful place when I feel grounded, I feel safe, and I feel nurtured and good. So a boundary in this context would be applied to oneself, to the individual, to know, to have the discernment to know that actually I've reached capacity. I need to step back and look after myself. This is stuff that you guys probably already know, because this is the Conscious Club. We're in the Conscious Crew. What I think people fail to do is realize that they're blaming other people for their discomfort. Because most of the time, the reason why we feel uncomfortable is because we need to play this into a scenario. I love scenarios. They're so much fun. Relationships are really good sort of base camp for scenarios, just because a lot of people can relate to that, relationships, sexual, non-sexual, flatmates, friends. There's so many different types of relationships. It doesn't just apply to your girlfriend or your boyfriend. We're in relationships with our parents, all that stuff. So relationships, interpersonal. Boundaries and interpersonal relationships should not be forced onto another, because what that's really doing is blaming, it's projecting, it's saying that you're doing this to me, where in actual fact no one's doing anything to you. You are in a position where you're allowing yourself to be in that environment, in that situation. Isn't that the most empowering thing you've ever heard? Not like, does that mean it's my fault? No, it means it's your responsibility, in the sense that you have that power now to actually go, oh my God, it's my duty to take care of myself. Isn't that a fabulous duty? And to employ that, and to actually work for yourself, be your captain, instead of someone else being your captain. Would you rather be your own captain or have someone else be your captain? What's more empowering? So I think people sort of get a little bit confused around that concept, because they feel so wholeheartedly that it's that guy was being an asshole. And of course, objectively, he may have been being an asshole, but it's not his fault for making you feel anything. That's on you, in the sense that you allowed that to occur within you. And the reason why, it's not allowing or not allowing it to happen. These things happen naturally, right? If somebody says something that triggers you, that trigger is there because there's something within you that exists. Say, if someone says, I don't think you're very good looking, for example, right? And you believe them, you're going to get offended. You're going to feel hurt, right? Because you have a belief somewhere deep inside you that you feel like you're not very handsome, you're not very pretty, you're not very beautiful, whatever that is. And because it's such a deep subconscious belief, when someone says that and it makes you feel uncomfortable or there's tension, you simply go, oh, that guy's he is an asshole, sure. But it's not his fault for making you feel that. Okay? You can blame it all you want. It's not going to help you. It's not going to make you grow. Taking accountability for how you're feeling is the most powerful thing you can do, because it gives you the vehicle to go inward and see what it is that is actually there. Oh shit, when I was 5 years old, my mates were bullying me all the time, saying I was this and that, or my dad didn't love me, or my mother forgot to make me dinner like every day of my life, or whatever, So there's reasons why these triggers exist. There's reasons, they're there. And the contrast, the opposite of that, would be like someone saying, you're ugly. And you're like, you just laugh at them. You're like, the fuck are you going on about? Because deep down, your core belief is that you are not ugly. You are handsome. You are beautiful. You are pretty, for example. And then it's just like, ding, it doesn't land. And it doesn't land because the trigger's not there. The wound isn't there. The hurt isn't there. The pain, the belief of it not being true is there. It's not there. So I think just the simple message, as if this has resonated with anybody, is that take your power back in the best way you can. Apply boundaries to yourself. Give yourself the love and the space that you need to take the time that you need to return to your Zen garden, your inner sanctuary, your inner spiritual community, okay? Connect with yourself and your highest and with God, and come back and really have the curiosity, have the humility to journey inward, to understand why. Why do I feel like this? I think why should be the biggest question. Why should be the most ultimate. Why? Why do I feel like? Because he's being an asshole. That's not going to help you. Why do I feel like this? Why is such a beautiful vehicle? Use it. Get in it. Jump on the motorway. Go for a road trip. Take a week off. Go for a holiday. In here. Honestly, it will change your life. Yeah, every moment of every tension, of every conflict, of every confrontation. Whew. Okay, why? And tension is not a bad thing, by the way. People misconceive tension. They're like, "Oh, I don't like tension. I'm above tension. I don't do tension." That is, I think, spiritual bypassing, in the sense that it's like, I am above that. I don't need tension. Is like 100% necessary for growth. We all go through tension, and the tension exists is because there's a confliction of what's happening on the external, what's going on the internal. It doesn't resonate. There's dissonance. Or that could be one case. Another case is what somebody says actually resonates with you. So there's many different forms of tension. Actually, I can unpack that. Tension from dissonance, tension from resonance. Usually if we're resonating, we're vibing, we're having a wonderful time. But if somebody says something like truthful because they love you and they're trying to point out something that you might not see, like a blind spot, and it resonates with you, you can feel tension in that. Like, I know that. Thank you for noticing that. Thank you for sharing that with me non-violently. Thanks for not shoving it in my face. Thanks for not fucking shoving it down my throat or cursing at me. Thanks for just delivering it in a way that I could receive it. Because I needed to hear that. You've helped me out. Thank you. I know that was a blind spot of mine. I'm aware of that. Thank you. So that tension exists in resonance. Tension that exists in dissonance is like when somebody is projecting, they're projecting at you, and you find that to be uncomfortable because you realize that it becomes a pretty unsafe territory to drop into a heart sharing or become vulnerable or authentic. When an authentic person becomes, you can't always be authentic. We're role playing in subconscious, fuck a lot of the time. But if you are feeling authentic or currently objectively in an authentic modality, that's how you're operating from that programming of authenticity, and someone else is being inauthentic in the sense that their projections are coming on, they're role playing, they're trauma dumping, or whatever it is, they're blaming, they're fucking fuck you, they're just wailing, having a horrible time and pointing finger. The tension and the dissonance there is that there's dissonance because what they're saying doesn't actually align with your truth. Right? So it's ding. So although it bounces off, it can create a tension because you realize you love this human being, you love this person deeply, and you know that they cannot see themselves in this moment. And that's a really tough thing to hold. When you know you love them so much, and you're deeply witnessing and observing the truth of what's happening within them, in the sense that you know that they are just kind of just it's a performance, it's a reaction. They're not being authentic, they're not responding, they're not heart sharing with you, they're not vulnerable. They've got armor on. They're claddered to fuck. You know what I mean? Guarded, because there's hurt and there's pain, and there's and they're just casting volatility, and it's just the environment doesn't feel safe, because you can trust yourself as much as you want. You can think, I'm the strongest, most grounded, assertive, heartfelt human being. But being in an environment with someone who you love is blind to their own shadow in the moment can create a lot of tension, because it's a challenge to de-escalate. It's a challenge to bring them back to love. It's a challenge to bring light into the situation, in the sense that you know that your attempts could be used against you. Anything that you do or say could be used against you, in the sense that you know you're being authentic, you know you're being loving, you know you're being kind. However, your words can be twisted, manipulated, and used against you, and all of a sudden you are the bad guy and always have been. And there's parts of you that haven't fully actually amounted, or haven't fully believed in your truth so deeply, maybe 99.9%, but even just 0.001% of doubt in there, and their like crazy tension cascade of role playing, like dissonant freaking volatilities just like crash landing on you. It's like an intense environment where even that 0.001%, they can take that, right? And that, with that is your confidence. And with that is your autonomy. With that is your authenticity. And all of a sudden, now I'm reacting. Now I'm like reacting and now I'm like it's like being possessed. It's fucking crazy. Like, it's insane when you get to that situation where you're like feeling 100% safe, secure, grounded, settled, and then all of a sudden the fucking floor gets ripped up from underneath you because you get triggered and you start to react. So blessings to all of those humans, those humble, beautiful servants of God, fucking awesome people. Love you guys. Any familiar battlegrounds out there, like anyone who's gone through that, like, my heart goes out to you, because I know what that feels like. It's just torrential when it happens. It's like, far out. It can be crazy, you know? And so it's happened to a lot of my dear brothers and sisters. You know, it happens all the time. Anyway, point being, boundaries are, oh shit, this is a real fucking unsafe environment. I recognize this terrain. This is nuts. I'm not going to fucking blame you. You're a bitch and react. I'm actually going to come back, reassess in a loving way where it's not like sorry, it's more like I'm deeply sorry because I need to do this for myself, because it's not that I'm not strong enough. I am actually strong enough to realize that I'm not able to deal with the connection right now. I need to go tend to my own connection to myself, because I'm losing myself slowly. I'm being drained in this dynamic. So, and no one can ever drain you, by the way. No one can ever drain you. There's no such thing as draining people. The reason why you feel drained is because that person has an influence over your autonomy. Sure. Okay? Doesn't mean it's their fault. It's because that exists within you. Does that make sense? So the more work that you do on yourself, and it doesn't mean you've got to bash a fucking brick wall being your subconscious mind every single day for the rest of your life to finally chisel yourself into the perfect person who never reacts. You always will. But it's more empowering to not blame and to take accountability and know that all of your medicine, all of your wisdom is in here. It's in your heart. Honestly. It's in your heart. No book. Nobody's going to tell you how wise and beautiful and gorgeous you are. You know, and you'll find it. It's in here. No one can tell you that. So, I was talking about something else before. I made a very bold claim, didn't I? That no one can drain you. So, you feel drained because you have allowed yourself to react. When we react, when we roleplay, when we're not being authentic, when we're not in our truth, we feel drained. That's it. No one can drain you. So what's happening is, if you feel low self-worth, not so confident, or embarrassed or ashamed or anything, guilt, lust, if you feel these things, you know, what can happen is it can pull us away from our truth. And that truth being is our the full embodiment of our true authentic self. And that just means like literally just being in the heart, like Jesus Christ consciousness, like vibration. It's a hard one to hold, right? And then when you're there, it's a hard one to keep flying, you know. We've got to keep growing our capacity. When we're feeling so loved up and just so, how do we stay at those heights, right? So point being, no one can drain you. It's because take that power back. Like there's no one out there who's like fucking gonna take your power away. That belongs to you. You're an autonomous, sovereign individual. Take accountability, love yourself, and know when you're reached capacity and that you need to tend to your garden. I think it's as simple as that, really. It's the most empowering thing I've ever done. So it's a 20-minute video. It's a big one. I've rambled on, spoken on a couple of things, but ultimately, you guys already knew this. You're just remembering. I'm just trying to help you remember. You're not learning anything. You're just listening to what you already knew. And you already knew that because it's been here the whole time. It's truth. And if it resonates, I'm glad. Subscribe and like if it has resonated. Much love, team. Love you all. Chew.